I'm really good. And I feel compelled to tell the story, or I'm really, really interested in the person who is...
Nicole Kidman has filed for divorce from Keith Urban after 19 years of marriage. The court papers show the actress will remain the primary caregiver of the couple's teenage daughters.
Nicole Kidman finally tells why she divorced Keith Urban. Nicole Kidman has filed for divorce from Keith Urban after 19 years of marriage. The paperwork uses the familiar phrase, irreconcilable differences. But the most revealing part isn't the words, it's the math. In their permanent parenting plan, one number pair quietly explains the entire story. 306 versus 59. That's the annual division of days with their daughters. 306 with Nicole, 59 with Keith. No statements, no interviews, just numbers that translate a private reality into public record. The filing, made in Nashville on September 30th, 2025, keeps the tone restrained and procedural. There's no dramatic joint announcement, no soft focus messaging about mutual respect. Instead, the parenting plan lays out a custody arrangement that is not balanced, but definitive. At roughly 83% with Nicole and 17% with Keith, it shows a family already organized around one parent's consistent presence and the other parent's intermittent availability. This is not a weekend on, weekend off situation. It's a settled rhythm. Nicole is designated the primary residential parent. Their daughters, Sunday Rose, 17, and Faith Margaret, 14, will live in Nashville, where school, friends, and routines can stay intact. Major decisions like healthcare and education remain joint, but the daily decisions that make up a home, rides, meals, homework, moods, nighttime debriefs, naturally flow to the parent who is there most of the time. In practice, this plan turns Keith's role into something episodic, meaningful, but not central to the weekday pulse of family life. The documents don't allege wrongdoing. There's no line accusing anyone of betrayal, abuse, or abandonment. Yet numbers talk. A parent who's fighting to be equally present typically does not settle for 17% of the year unless circumstances are decisive. Either his schedule makes more time unrealistic, or he decided not to wage a prolonged fight for a distribution that the calendar can't sustain. Silence keeps conclusions off the record. Arithmetic puts them back on. Keith's professional reality in 2024 and 2025 is a matter of public scheduling, a major album followed by an extensive North American High and Alive tour. Top-tier touring isn't just glamorous, it's relentless. 200-plus days away from home is normal at that level, not exceptional. And those days are not merely travel, they're rehearsals, sound checks, press, and recovery. Life on the road makes daily family presence almost structurally impossible, no matter how much love a parent has. Nicole's career runs differently. As a film and television actor, her schedule is project-based. Intense filming blocks followed by stretches at home. In 2025, with momentum around a Practical Magic sequel and other commitments, Nashville remained her base. That pattern matters. The family geography and rhythm favored a parent who could return to the same doorstep, the same school drop-off, the same kitchen table with regularity. It's not morality, it's logistics. Over years, those logistics become the architecture of a marriage. A subtle but telling sequence lies in the dates. The parenting plan bears Keith's signature from August 1st, 2025, nearly 2 months before Nicole filed. That means he saw and agreed to the 306/59 division in advance. There's no visible fight for a different ratio, no record of a contested rebalancing. He signed. That signature reads like an acknowledgement of a truth already lived. More equitable scheduling wasn't realistic in the life they had built. Another unusual detail sits in the financial provisions. Child support prepaid in a lump sum instead of monthly installments. Most arrangements are ongoing and contingent, reflecting changes in income or time. Prepaying simplifies and severs the monthly tether. For someone perpetually traveling between cities and obligations, it's administratively elegant. One check, fewer touch points, less friction. It aligns with a life designed to keep moving, a financial mirror of the 59-day calendar footprint. The documents don't splash the past across the page, but the history matters. Early in their marriage, Keith entered treatment for addiction challenges after Nicole intervened, and he later spoke with gratitude about her resolve. That crisis was survived, and their partnership carried on for years. But the difference between surviving a storm and building a stable climate is vast. When you set that history next to the present custody math, you see a relationship that, over time, tilted toward one parent's routine and away from the others. Financially, the split is clean in a way that rarely follows a 19-year marriage. No spousal support, each keeps assets in their own name, including future earnings and royalties. That kind of tidy division suggests strong prenuptial scaffolding, an agreement that anticipated how to unwind without a war over catalogs, back-end points, or residuals. A prenup is not a prediction of failure. It's a plan for clarity. Here, it did exactly what it was designed to do: simplify the money so that the only complex negotiation left was time with children. That clarity shapes the tone of the entire divorce. There is no scorched earth, no public tug-of-war over valuations. The legal machinery moved efficiently where it could, so the deeply human part, custody, could be the focus. It points to an approach less like a collapse and more like a conclusion. The day finally came, and the path out had been paved years earlier, allowing a calm exit rather than a spectacle. The dissonance between public performance and private timeline is striking. On June 26, 2025, they marked their 19th anniversary with affectionate posts. Weeks later, he signed the parenting plan. By late September, separation news surfaced, and the court filing followed. The photos and captions have already vanished down social feeds. The signatures and timestamps remain. That's the difference between what we present and what we live. If you look back, there were quieter hints. In 2024, at a premiere for The Perfect Couple, Nicole noted she didn't believe in the idea of a perfect couple. It sounded wise and grounded then. In retrospect, it reads like an acknowledgement that image doesn't secure intimacy. Later that year, she said they had breakfast and dinner together every day and then added, "How do we do it?" I'm kind of not sure that uncertainty feels now less playful than honest, routine patched together against a tide. Public-facing love didn't evaporate overnight. In May 2025, they walked a major red carpet together, easy and practiced as ever. For people whose lives are lived under lenses, keeping the image intact can be its own act of care, for children, for teams, for a shared legacy. But calendars have no sympathy. August 1st is still August 1st. September 30th is still September 30th. The truth sits in the dates, not the flashbulbs. When the news broke, familiar speculation tried to graft a neat cause onto a complex ending. A name floated briefly, the way names do when narratives crave a villain. But those whispers couldn't withstand basic facts and other public commitments. The more plausible truth is far less cinematic and more exhausting. A travel calendar that never quits, a home that cannot live on pauses and returns, and a mother who became the center of gravity because gravity requires presence. If sparks existed, the fire didn't need them. The oxygen was the schedule. The core of this story is the custody allocation. 306 and 59 do not spell shared. They are the legal rendering of how this family already functioned. For teenagers, stability is measurable. Consistent mornings, predictable evenings, a parent whose keys are in the bowl by the door most nights. The plan enshrines that stability with the parent who can deliver it consistently. The other parent's role, while meaningful, is by design intermittent, confined to windows that life on tour can accommodate. None of this negates love. The documents aren't a judgment of character. They are a map of time. They do not say, "He didn't care." They say, "He wasn't there enough." Those are not the same thing, but for children and for marriages, the difference often doesn't matter. You cannot be fully present at home if you are necessarily absent most of the year. The plan draws a boundary around that truth without punishing it, and then it moves forward. This ultimately is how the marriage ends, not with a single catastrophic blow, but with an erosion you can measure in small absences. Missed dinners, recitals attended by one, not two, weekend logistics that turn into weekday patterns. Marriages can survive storms. They rarely survive permanent drizzle. The custody math tells us the drizzle never really stopped, and one partner became the umbrella holder by necessity. Since the filing, both have stayed silent. That silence is its own statement. No narrative is being curated beyond what the documents already reveal. They lay out who lives where, who pays what, and who holds the ordinary Tuesday in their hands. It's precise, unsentimental, and, crucially, final. You don't need adjectives when the numbers do the work. There is a difficult mercy in how straightforward the finances are. The lack of a public money fight spares their daughters the spectacle that often shadows high-profile divorces. It shrinks the story to the single thing that matters: what life will actually look like next week, next month, next school year. The prenup that once felt abstract now functions as a gift to the present, converting potential conflict into settled terms so everyone can step forward. What remains then are the essentials: dates and divisions. August 1st, 2025. The parenting plan signed. September 30th, 2025. Filing and separation recorded. 306 days with Nicole, 59 with Keith. If you want to understand how a marriage ended, you can search for quotes, or you can look at a calendar. The ledger of presence is the truest account. Time is the testimony. And what does that ledger say? It says a woman stopped performing a version of domestic life that no longer matched reality. It says a man who loves both his work and his family chose a path he knows intimately and excels at, even at a cost he surely understands. It says two teenagers will spend most of their year in a home that doesn't move, with the parent who doesn't either. It says there's a difference between loving your family and living with them, and the latter is counted in days, not declarations. So 306 versus 59. That's not simply custody, it's the outline of the past and the instruction for the future. It's a story written without flourish, without blame, and without spectacle, just the quiet mathematics of presence. If you're looking for the why, the answer is already on the page. The calendar has spoken. What do you think those numbers really say? Is this primarily the unyielding logic of a touring schedule? Or is there something else you see in the gentle, accumulating choices that brought them here? Share your thoughts. The ledger is clear, but interpretation lives with us.